I saw this a lot where people were like, okay, so people don't do FaceTimes as dates anymore, to get to know somebody before they go out to an actual date. My FaceTime dates are deemed as coffee date. And there's a reason that I don't go by that logic. When I first started dating my ex, he and I used to FaceTime all the time because obviously I was in Chicago, he was in Austin, so there was no way for us to physically meet, on top of the fact that we were in a pandemic. So our very first conversation via FaceTime went really well, but I had noticed during that conversation and several conversations after that there were always these really weird, awkward pauses where I felt like I was the one who had to pick up the loose ends of the conversation so we could move on to the next thing. And that was starting to become a problem for me because I'm like, okay, I don't want to constantly feel like I'm talking to myself. I don't want to feel like I'm selfish because I'm the only one who's contributing to the conversation. Like, that's weird. Who wants to talk to themselves on a date? But I decided that I still wanted to try and figure things out, so I arranged to meet him in person. So when I went down to Austin and we went on our date to go get ice cream, the vibe felt really good. I felt really safe with him. I felt super comfortable with him. Again, it was very similar to the way that we were doing things via FaceTime, but I still noticed that there were a lot of the awkward pauses. Now, in his favor, again, the energy was good. So it's not like during my, we went on, instead of coffee, we did ice cream. So instead of like booking it right after I finished my ice cream, I figured, okay, we can still take some time to get to know one another because, again, the vibe feels right. Maybe it just takes some time for you to get comfortable. And that's exactly what happened. It took several more hours for him to kind of loosen up and to lighten up and to show me the person that he actually was, the majority of the time. And this is the exact reason why I like to do coffee, ice cream, or smoothies as dates instead of just FaceTimes, because you can connect really well with someone via FaceTime and have the vibe be all off, once you meet them in person. And by doing a date like coffee or, like I said, ice cream, it gives you room. So the date, we only sat there for about an hour eating ice cream and talking. And then because I liked him enough, we went on and to do other things and the date was extended. Versus if, we had just gone to dinner and let's say he hadn't turned out to be amazing, I would have been stuck with that, with that man or someone, I didn't like for another 90 minutes. I personally like to see what I'm going to get into up close and in person. Obviously, different strokes for different folks, but I do think that's something that you should try to keep in mind.